What's up, guys? Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Monday, July the 11th. Been on the water pretty much every day this past week. Bite's been pretty good. Knocking this out a day early because I got stuff going on tomorrow afternoon. Had a decent morning today, but it seemed like the bite shut down around, I guess, around 8:15, 8:30 for some reason. Not exactly sure why, but we have been catching them. Current lake level 916.21, which puts us a little bit more than 3/4 a foot below normal summer pool. Core's been running water pretty much every day, not a lot, about one generator, sometimes half a generator. Seems like they kick it up in the afternoon though, and they'll run 3 or 4 to meet power demands. They're still draining beaver down a little bit, and they're putting the coals to Bull Shoals. So I mean, they are absolutely dropping Bull Shoals like a rock. Water temperature really hasn't changed that much. I saw 87, 88 today for the most part, so it hasn't changed that much all week. We're pretty much in the summer heat of the summer pattern. It's supposed to be hot this week, so it wouldn't surprise me at all to see the water even in the mid-lake where I am today to get up over 90 degrees, and certainly up in the rivers you'll see some 90, 92, 94s up there. So keep that in mind if you're fishing this week. The water is going to be warm. Best way to stay on top of it, best way to know what's going on, join Table Rock Fishing Intel. Become a pro member. We just had a couple more videos released over the weekend. We had another one with James Watson, one with Brian Snowden. We've got a bunch of stuff coming down the pipe. It's just a matter of getting it all edited and getting it out there. We've got Fishing a Big Worm with Stacy King, which I can't wait to see that one, because I mean, he's pretty much a living legend on this lake and definitely one of the best big worm fishermen around. He teamed up with Mike Roller, and between those two, they've probably released more fish caught on a big worm than most people have caught in their lifetime. So that's going to be a cool video. We've got some more stuff on some big glide baits coming out. So we got a lot of videos coming your way. So now's a really good time to join Table Rock Fishing Intel and get all those videos as we get them released, probably 2 to 3 a week for you guys to see. But if you're coming down, we're going to fish the lower end of the lake. I can tell you I fished lower end a couple of times late last week, and the drop shot bite was definitely king up there. Topwater bite's pretty much over, fellas, unless you get the right day where you get some clouds and the fish get a little bit more grouped up and the shad get a little bit more grouped up. I'm not even seeing more than 1 or 2 fish at a time bust. So the topwater bite seems to be going away all over the lake, but the drop shot bite is definitely strong, and the scuba spoon bite is definitely strong. Been doing better around trees and dock cables and that sort of thing. Better doing around those areas than I am out on the gravel flats right now. I think that's purely a matter of them not running as much current. I think if they do kick the current back up, we will certainly see those fish start to move out on those gravel points and be a little bit more catchable and be a little bit more grouped up on the gravel points. You can catch them on gravel, you've got to move around a lot. You got to make a lot of moves, and they're not grouped up. You'll find one here, one there. Maybe if you find a brush pile on it, you might find a little group of them, but you really have to do that. Pee-wee football jig bite is starting to go away down there for the same reason. There's just not as many fish on those gravel points, but the spoon jacking bite is definitely good around some of the bigger docks. Some of the same docks I'm drop shotting the ends of. Once the sun gets up, I can get in there and hit some open slips with a spoon, usually the Watson spoon, and pitch it back in there and catch a few on a spoon. Coming to the mid-lake area where I am today, like I said, weird day today. We caught them actually really good for the first hour and a half, 2 hours, and then it just kind of went to heck on us. Not exactly sure why, but everything we caught was on drop shot rig. Around dock cables. We fished a few trees later, and it seemed like we couldn't get the fish to come out of the trees. That's why I'm thinking something happened with the current flow or whatever. It kept them from biting, and even fished some gravel with some brush piles on it and had a hard time getting the fish to come out of the brush pile. So drop shot bite is definitely good here. I'm catching them off of cables. I'm catching them out of trees. Mostly in that 25 to 35 or 40 foot deep seems to be the best range for these fish. Again, the topwater bite's pretty much non-existent. We have been catching a few on a pee-wee football jig or a Carolina rig out here on these gravel points, but you're going to have to fish deeper. You're going to have to fish that 20 to 30 foot range. Really seems to be where you're catching them on a jig or a Carolina rig. And then, you know, we are catching them spoonjacking here as well. The spoonjacking bite's actually starting to turn on really well. We're getting these hot, sunny days, no clouds, no wind. Makes it really prime for spoonjacking around some of these bigger docks. Again, I'm throwing it 25-pound fluorocarbon on a 710 heavy action rod with a fast tip, throwing that Watson River to Sea worldwide spoon, and just hitting those dock slips, and really active target makes it even easier because you can kind of see the fish suspended underneath there. So keep that in mind if you're coming down this weekend. Up the James, the shallow bite's definitely better up the James, especially the further up you go. If you get up above, really above point 12 or above Piney, it's pretty good. Most of those fish are coming on either a football jig or a peewee football jig. Some of them coming on a big worm out of brush piles, or some of them just out of rocks on a big worm. Carolina rig, all that stuff's working. The fish seem to be a little bit deeper than we normally think. They're 15 to about 20 or even 25 as the day wears on, but you can catch them doing that. Get the right day, get a little bit of cloud cover, a little bit of wind. You can catch them on a square bill up there as well, beating the bank, so that's definitely good. And then if you come on downstream, down around Ants Creek, up to about point 12, there's a decent drop shot bite up there as well with a shad shaped cut tail and that sort of thing. So keep that in mind as well. We're definitely catching some fish. Up the James, go up the White, and all the bites are the same. You know, the topwater bite's still a struggle, but we are catching them on a drop shot rig, you know, on those dock cables, those bigger docks, in the treetops. 25 to about 35 or 40 seems to be the key area, the key depth that these fish are holding in. Catch them on a scuba spoon in the same areas. Seems like if you get a group that's worked up and feeding pretty good, you can catch them a lot faster with a scuba spoon. Catch a few, if you go up a little bit further, go up Shell Knob and above, you can catch them on a peewee football jig, you can catch them on a regular football jig, Carolina rig, catch them on a big worm up there as well, Texas rig and a big worm. Those fish are 15 to 25, 15 to 30, depending on water clarity. But a lot of bites going on up there, and then spoonjacking as well up there. And those bigger docks, those bigger community docks, you can really, you're not going to catch a bunch of fish in a day spoonjacking. You know, a good spoonjacking day, you might catch in 8 hours 15 or 20 fish, but the quality really tends to be better. Catching a lot better fish spoonjacking right now than, you know, catching short fish. That bigger River to Sea spoon really weeds out the weaklings. You don't get a lot of little Kentuckies hitting that thing. It's mostly better largemouth or big Kentuckies or big smallmouth on that. So definitely if you're going to go up there this weekend, I'd give spoonjacking a try, because it should be a good spoonjacking weekend. Guys, it's hot. It's going to get hotter. From what I understand, we're going to be in the hundreds or upper 90s all this week and all next week. So the bite's not going to change that much. I don't have any rain coming in the forecast of any note, so it's, you know, we're not going to get a big shallow bite going on. I mean, not saying you can't go out and catch a few shallow. I mean, we caught them on a square bill last week in probably 1.5 or 2 foot of water, but it's a first thing in the morning deal. The bulk of the fish, I mean, you're really looking for these bigger schools out there offshore. That really seems to be the key for me as far as catching fish, is finding these schools out there offshore, especially up in the rivers. You get up some of the points up the James or up the Kings or even up the White River. You get on some of these points and you'll find some pretty massive schools out there, and you'd be surprised how many good fish are, you know, maybe hanging around with a school of Kentuckys. We had a couple of big fish last week, so keep that in mind if you're going up. But the best way to stay in touch with it, best way to know what's going on, join Table Rock Fishing Intel. Get all these reports, daily reports, weekly reports, all the videos. I can't stress enough how many videos we've got coming out. We've spent a lot of time shooting video over the last 2 weeks, and there's going to be a ton of really good information for you guys on how to catch fish throughout the summer on Table Rock Fishing Intel if you are a pro member. So certainly want to check that out. If you haven't done so already, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel. At least try the 1-day membership and see if it's for you or not. You know, 1 day's free, and if it works out, sign up. $45 a year. Maps are worth that alone. But if you're coming down, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com. Either shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching the videos. Again, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you haven't done so, but thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.